In the 2003 movie Bruce Almighty, Jim Carrey plays, well, the titular character Bruce, and he's given the powers of God. And originally he uses them for his own selfish gain, but as with all good movies, he learns his lesson, and at the end of the movie, he comes face to face with God, played by Morgan Freeman. And he says this heartfelt prayer. Basically, he says that he wants the woman that he loves to be seen by someone the same way that God sees her. And of course, God says, now that's a good prayer. Well, no offense to Mr. Freeman, but this is a good prayer. Welcome to Walking Through the Word. We're in John chapter 17, and Jesus and the disciples have been walking towards the Garden of Gethsemane. They have had their time of the what we know as the Lord's Supper, the final supper, and they've been cruising and walking. We're not quite sure what the time frame is, but we know that Jesus has been teaching. And as he reaches the end of his discourse, he does a prayer. Now, we're all familiar with the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. But this is a beautiful prayer that we see in really three sections. The first one is that that Jesus asks the Father for strength to continue to carry out the mission that has been set out since the beginning of time. Then the next part of it, Jesus prays for his disciples as they are about to encounter, really a very difficult several days. And then he prays for the future church. So we're going to kind of break these down over the next couple of days and look at each one, starting with John chapter 17, verses 1 through 5. After Jesus said this, he looked toward heaven and prayed, Father, the hour has come. Jesus has been talking about how the hour is not yet mine, it is not yet my time. Well, now it's time. Glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you. In other words, give me strength to carry these things out as I am supposed to, as I am desiring to do. Give me the endurance necessary because of the weight that I am about to bear, so that I can give you glory in my actions. Well, this is a great motivation. That's a great prayer right there. Jim Carrey did great. Hey, look, I wanted to see through I wanted people to see her through your eyes, God. That's nice. But really, ultimately, what we need to be doing is praying that we glorify God. That's really the purpose of us in our lives, is to bring God glory. And Jesus is demonstrating this. And he's saying, I need that strength. Verse 2, for you granted him authority over all people, that he might give eternal life to all those you have given him. He's talking about himself. Now this is eternal life, that they know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. In other words, help people to see why I'm doing this, what the purpose of what I'm doing is, which is to reconcile, to give eternal life to all those who believe and place their faith. Verse 4, Father, I have brought you glory on earth by finishing the work you gave me to do. In other words, Jesus is saying now the events, they are unfolding as they are supposed to. As soon as Judas left the supper, at that point, Jesus said it is what it is. It's going to happen now. The events are going to unfold as we have determined for thousands of years. We knew this moment was coming. Well, now this is the finishing work. So give me the strength to carry this thing out. Now, Father, verse 5, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began. Remember how John started this letter. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is what he's saying. I have always been here. I have been a part of this plan. I've been in agreement with this plan since Adam and Eve made their first choice. And I am here now to bring you glory. So I simply ask that you give me the strength to do the same, that I may give you the glory that you so richly deserve. This is a beautiful prayer, and it is a genuine prayer coming from the human part of Jesus. Jesus, who has made himself less than in order to carry out this mission, recognizes the weakness of his flesh. And he's basically saying, hey, God, you're the one who's going to give the power necessary to carry this out. So help me with it, please. This is a beautiful prayer. But Jesus doesn't just pray for himself. No, his prayer is really, truly more outwardly focused than it is inwardly focused. But we'll talk more about that next time.